Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back for math. So, as you can see, we're already on chapter 12, which is really great. Chapter 12 is a really fun chapter because we get to use real life examples and also because it's something that's really important for us to know. So, we're going to be talking about measurements now, measurement units. So, that's things we use to measure stuff, right? So, like, we use a ruler to measure, but what are the units that we use on a ruler? What are the little numbers on the ruler? What do they mean? So that's what we'll be focusing on today. Now, when we talk about measurement benchmarks, that means like things that we can use as um, kind of like as an example. So, for example, let's say I wanted to use my mouse as a benchmark, right? So I would use my mouse to measure stuff and my mouse would be the benchmark. We'd say, well, this is one mouse long, right? So if I measured my laptop, it would be 1, 2, 3, right? So 3 of these would be the measurement. This would be my benchmark, the thing I'm using to measure stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, something really important to know is that here at the United States, in the United States, we are a very different country. So that is because we use a um, completely different like scale of measurement than everyone else in the world. So that's why you see here it says customary units of measurement, units of length. Sorry. So customary, when you see customary, that means here in the United States. Now you'll see metric too. Everywhere else in the world they use that. That's why sometimes like in cars or in work problems you see like kilometers and miles, right? It's different. They measure the same thing, but the way we measure it is different in the United States and other countries. So we'll learn both. We'll learn about customary units and also the metric unit. So first we learn about 1 inch. So if you look at your finger, this top notch, I guess, of your finger is about an inch. Miss Alvarez has really small fingers, so it's probably a little bit more, but it's about an inch. It's an estimate. Okay. If you look at a license plate like we have here, that's about 1 foot. And they also say that this part of your arm here, your forearm, that is about a foot in measurement. Okay. Then we have 1 yard. So a baseball bat is about 1 yard. Some of you may have seen yardsticks in the class too. Those really long looking rulers. And we have 1 mile. So they're measuring a mile in the amount of time that it would take to travel. So 20 minutes. So that's usually like how we measure distance, right? How like length and distance, how far something is. How many miles do you live from the school? Oh, I live about 3 miles from the school. Okay. So, um, customary units of liquid volume. How do we measure liquid? So this is measuring length. How long is your table? It's about, I could say my table is about 2 yards, so about 2 baseball bats long, right? Using these benchmarks, like the baseball bat. Okay, so but that's measuring length. You could say, um, what is the length, I don't know, of a piece of hair on your head? Some of you have really short hair. So you could say about 3 inches, or mine looks like about 12 inches. My hair's, well, that piece, my hair's really long. So we could use inches to measure. Um, But we have customary units of liquid volume. Remember, customary is here in the United States, so this is how we measure liquid. You see these a lot when you're cooking. For example, 1 cup of fluid or of liquid looks like this. It's also equal to 8 ounces. So 1 cup has 8 ounces. This is 1 pint, 1 quart, 1/2 gallon, and 1 gallon. Then we have customary units of weight. So these pictures are here to help show you how much liquid would fit in each, right? This is obviously bigger than this. Then we have customary units of weight. Again, weight here in the United States. So a pencil weighs about 1 ounce, right? A loaf of bread that you get from the grocery store weighs about 1 pound. And a whole car weighs 1 ton. So 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. You don't need to know that just yet. But think about 2,000 pounds. Like, other than a car, is there anything around you that weighs that much? I can't think of anything that's like close by that weighs that much. So cars are pretty much the closest benchmark we have for that right now. So that's benchmark in oh my that's benchmarks in the customary units of length. So now we're gonna go to what does it do? Benchmarks for metric units. So that's the other system that everyone else in the world uses. Why we don't use it, I don't know, but it's just something that you get used to. But we do have to learn both. So if you look at metric units, so 1 millimeter for length right now. So if you look at a ruler, on the back side, on one side they have inches. On the other side they have centimeters. So in between 1 inch, we have like all those little lines, right, that show how much makes up an inch. Well, one of those lines on the centimeter side is a millimeter. Millimeters are super tiny, super small, okay? Then we have centimeters, which is probably the closest thing to an inch, right? It measures this part of your finger, okay? That's a centimeter. Then we have a decimeter, which is about the size of your hand. Again, Miss Albers has small hands, so probably an average size hand. Then we have 1 meter, which is about the length of a door. And 1 kilometer is about 10 minutes. So if 1 mile is about 20 minutes, then 1 kilometer is 10 minutes. Which one do you think is greater? Kilometer or the mile? Think about that. Then we have metric units of liquid volume. So you have 1 milliliter, which is about how much one of those little tubes they use to give medicines to babies, or you have 1 liter. And like we hear about liters all the time, right? When you go to the store and you buy a 2-liter bottle of soda, right? That's 2 liters. Then we have mass, which is how much something weighs, right? So a dollar bill or any bill of money is about 1 gram. And then a bat is a kilogram, okay? So 1 gram is smaller than 1 kilogram. So something really important to note about kilo, because you'll see this a lot later on, is that kilo is equal to 1,000. So what that means is that if 1 dollar bill is 1 gram, then you multiply that by 1,000, and that will get you the mass of this bag. So 1 kilogram is equal to 1,000 grams. That's for later. You guys don't have to worry so much about that. So we're going to look here on share and show, and it says use benchmarks to choose the metric unit you would use to measure each. Also, this is page 471 to page 473, and I'm saying that because you can have it open if you want to do it on Skies, like write the answers on Skies, or if you just want to post a picture, that's fine. But you're probably going to want to go back and forth, and you'll see what I mean right now. So you're going to use benchmarks to choose the metric unit you would use to measure each. Remember, the benchmark is the picture that we're using, right? So like we said that this is about an inch. So this is our benchmark, right, for length. And then for volume, a cup. We know what a cup looks like, right? Just any cup, They're usually about 8 ounces. Some cups are a little bit more, right? And then for weight, we would say, or mass, right? We would say an ounce, 1 pound, 1 ton. Okay? So you're going to use all of these pictures as your benchmarks to see, like, to compare. So for example, if we look at number 1, it says the mass of a strawberry. How much a strawberry weighs? Would we use centimeters or meters or kilometers? The answer is no, because what do centimeters, meters, and kilometers measure? They measure here length, right? But we don't want to know the length. We want to know the mass, how much something weighs, right? So this is where we're going to be looking. So does one strawberry weigh close to the amount of a dollar bill or of a bat? So think about that. One strawberry, you're probably going to want to use grams to measure a strawberry, right? It's not going to be equal to 1 gram. It's going to be more than 1 gram. But it's also not going to equal 1 kilogram, the same way as a bat. So that's why you're going to write here grams. Then it asks for the length of a cell phone. So if you look at the length of a cell phone, well, we talked about these being measurements of a length, right? A centimeter is equal to this front side of your finger. A meter is about the length of a door, which is actually pretty wide. I can't even show you on my camera. And then a kilometer is almost like a mile, right? So if we want to measure the length of a cell phone, am I going to use a kilometer, which is almost like a mile? You guys have run a mile before. Am I going to use that to measure my phone? No. What about a meter? A meter is the size of a door, the length of a door. Am I going to use the length of a door, which you can't even see on my camera because it's so small, to measure my phone? Probably not. You're probably going to want to use centimeters and measure using this line on your fingertip, right? So that's what we mean by benchmarks, is using the images you have, the images that you're given, to see what you can measure other things with. Okay, so here you're pretty much going to do the same thing. Here it says circle the best estimate, the width of a teacher's desk. So imagine my desk. Is it equal to 10 meters or 1 meter? Remember, a meter is about the width is how wide it is. So is that going to be 10 meters, as in 10 doors right next to each other, or 1 door? And then the amount of liquid in a punch bowl. So I want you guys to imagine one of those big soda bottles, right? You go to the store and you say, Mom, can I get a bottle of Coke? And it's a 2-liter bottle. Do you think it's going to be 2 liters? Or do you think it's going to be 10 of those, right? Because each has 2. 2 times 10 is 20. So do you think a bowl of punch, one bowl, would hold 2 liters or 20? And then lastly, the distance between Seattle and San Francisco. So I'm going to show you guys a map. So here, if you look here, this is San Francisco in California. Now the map is obviously smaller because he lives California, San Francisco's in California. Then you have to travel all the way to the top here. Then you have to travel through Oregon, an entire state, all the way to the very northernmost part of Washington, another state. So, thinking about that, do you think that, and again, you guys have run 1 mile, right? Let's say it took you guys 12 minutes. So if you ran 6 miles, how long would it take you to run 6 miles? Take you about 72 minutes, right? So, thinking about that, do you think it would take you 72 minutes to run from San Francisco in California, travel through an entire state all the way to Seattle? Do you think that would be 6 miles or 680 miles? Last year I went on a road trip from here all the way to Washington. It took us 21 hours. 21 hours. It took us 12 hours just to drive from San Francisco to Oregon. That's not even Seattle. That's not even in Washington yet. So, think about that. So you guys will be doing all of these 1 through, I believe, 12. Okay? If you have any questions, you can leave them on Google Classroom or on Skies. And I have a really fun scavenger hunt for us tomorrow about this stuff that we learned. So look forward to that. I will see you guys later though. Bye.